What's going on, cast and crew? Welcome back to Tyler's Theater. So, last night I just watched the newest episode of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2. Believe it was episode 5. I think it was 5, or maybe it was 6. Um, but I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm not going to go really into spoilers. I'm not going to really break down kind of the plot. I just recommend, if you are a Daredevil fan at heart from the very beginning, that you go and watch it. Now, I'm sure if you're already a Daredevil fan, you've already watched it. So I'm assuming most of you seeing this video right now kind of already know what I'll be talking about. Again, not going into spoilers, but you can kind of get what I'm going to be hinting on. But for this video, it is going to be just a simple message to Marvel. And that message to Marvel is thank you for understanding the assignment and giving us great content. Now, as I've said before, this may shock you, but as I said before, first 3 episodes of the show really did not sell me. And last season was just okay. It was mid. Action was okay. It's still good to see Daredevil, don't get me wrong, and Punisher. But the story to me was just so lackluster and all over the place and confusing and too many characters. And I'm going to be honest, that's how this show started off. First 3 episodes, too many characters, had nothing to do with anything. And it was just boring and blah, and it was taking up screen time for me and not giving me what I wanted to see. The episode before the one I saw last week's episode with Bullseye, perfect. I thought that episode was brilliant. It was violent. It was intense. It was just so upbeat in its energy. And then this week actually took that energy and brought it back down. So like I said, it was very slow, but I was not bored. I really enjoyed it. This episode from this week was complete nostalgia. It actually was an episode, I would say almost 50% of it was all flashbacks. Now, if you like the original Daredevil show, that's kind of the feel. You can tell that's what Marvel was going for. Marvel said, let's hit the fans with something nostalgic and give it to them. Let's think of how Netflix did the show, and let's try to recopy that and do it. When there are flashbacks, guys, even the color grading, the lighting, if you look carefully, you'll see a mix of a yellow and a green color, and it feels like that old, authentic, like, visual that you see from the original Netflix show. And characters that are in the new show are in the flashback scenes. Some of them look young. I don't know if they just de-aged them, because I'm going to be honest, it looked really, really good and smooth and clean. But there are characters that are de-aged. They are talking about law and certain characters meeting each other for the first time. And it's just so amazing. It was hitting so close to home if you're a Daredevil fan. And I was just like, wow, this is so great. Where we left off in the last episode, Vanessa was hit by Bullseye, and Bullseye was hit by Vanessa. Now, if you're close to the characters, if you love the characters, there are moments of death in this episode from a few characters. I'm keeping it at that. Not saying that one dies or one lives. You'll have to go and see for yourself. But there is a very heavy feel of death in this show. Characters that could die, that have died, that will die, that are dying. And so, as I mentioned, characters in a show that have nothing to do with the plot but waste time don't belong in the show. And I would say for the most part, I'm going to say in a minute why I say the most part. For the most part, this episode was all the characters that you love from the original. whether they're good or they're bad. They're likable, they're the main characters, they're the side characters. If you like the show, most likely you like the characters. It's gonna tug on your heartstrings a little bit. The reason why I say for the most part, you have a chock full episode of characters that you love, and then they go back to the new story with some of the new characters, and like showing that after showing the original characters, you immediately see like, oh my goodness, these new characters are boring. And there is a good chunk in this episode of characters, I'm gonna be honest, nobody probably cares about, and it's boring. And so it only gives me more confidence in my feeling and idea of why are these characters in the show, because you are literally jumping from a flashback to the new characters. And you can see the big difference. And I think that if they're going to have characters in a show, every show needs a lot of characters, right? You need characters. But if they're really just there to waste time and fill gaps and check boxes and whatever it is they're doing, they shouldn't stay in it. If you want to introduce them, great. But especially in a show like this that's violent and full of action, start taking them out. Start taking them out because they are wasting time at this point. But yes, so if you like nostalgia, if you like the old Daredevil show, this is one I would watch. And based on how this one ended, that scene, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. This show is going to get really intense towards the end, and I'm hoping that it doesn't let down because they have just built up a couple character arcs. A couple. There are characters in this that their personality is totally going to evolve now based on the choices they made in this episode or the circumstances that happened in this episode. They're going to change, whether they become more righteous or more deadly. Hint. So, go watch the episode. If you've seen it, what did you guys think? Comment that down below. That is going to be a wrap on today's video. Again, thank you, Marvel, for this episode. Like, share, y'all know what to do. And cast and crew, I will see you guys in the next video.